We've spoken a little bit before about different types of police stops, including a consensual stop. What I'd like to talk about today is an investigative detention. So what this is it's not quite consensual, because if you ask the officer if you were free to leave, the answer would be no. This occurs when the officer has reasonable and articulable suspicion that you might be engaged in some sort of criminal activity. So one good thing to ask is, what is the cause of this detention? A common example would be if you're pulled over. Let's say the officer observes someone cross the center line. He pulls him over and observes the odor of an intoxicating beverage. That's probably enough to detain you to determine whether or not you're driving under the influence of drugs or alcohol. There's no absolute rule, and of course every case varies a little bit, but the general rule is at about 15 or 20 minutes we're starting to get past the scope of an investigative detention. Now, states vary at this point as to whether or not you're required to show an identification. In both Missouri and Illinois, you would be required to show an ID at this point. The other difference from a consensual encounter is at this point the officer can pat you down for weapons, and that's for his safety. So if you have a person, that would be limited to the exterior of your clothing, or if you have a handbag, he could look in that. You can also search what's referred to as the wingspan area of any vehicle or the room of any house you might be in. Basically any area that you can reach, and there might be a weapon for you to harm him. Of course, he can still ask you to search. We always advise that you would decline any further consensual search and don't give more than what's legally required of you. If you have more questions about this or the scope of an investigative detention, please feel free to contact us today.